Welcome back to another live stream. How is everyone doing? Oops, I forgot to mute my speakers. All right, as usual, before we go too far, just want to make sure that everything is working fine. You guys can hear the audio okay. You guys can see everything all right. Just let me know in the chat if anyone is here that yeah, everything is working okay. And while I'm waiting for people to appear on the chat, let me have some coffee. Coffee first. Today is a little bit quieter than usual. Usually there's some buzz and activities in the chat already. Coffee first, always. Coffee is life. Thank you so much, Vapagamuka and Jari Huikari. All right, Vapagamuka says, good evening, Robin. Hope you've had a good day. I've had a great day. It's been quite productive. I did a short shoot in the morning. I had a meeting in the afternoon and managed to come back, make dinner, and prepare for this live stream. So yeah, it's been a good day, Vapagamuka. I hope the same for you. Jerry says, audio and video okay. Thank you so much, Jerry, for the update. Vapagamuka says, audio and video okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Tomato says, good evening, Robin. Audio and video A-okay. Thank you so much, Tomato. Appreciate that. And Trail says, good morning, Robin. Good morning to you too. Very nice to see you again. And all the way from Washington, D.C. Astrom says, good afternoon from Iceland. Hey, Astrom. How are you? Audio and video okay. Thank you so much for the update. Har says, good morning, Robin. Audio and video sounds good, looks good. Thank you so much, Har. Appreciate that. Nice to see you here. Jerry says, hi from foggy Finland. Hello. 5 degrees Celsius outside. Wow, I envy you. It is 29 degrees in my room. It is a very hot night tonight. I'm soon leaving and we'll watch later. We have a camera club gathering. We watch photos. Today, our theme is reflection. Oh, that's awesome. And if you guys have something else to do, something more important like work or you're meeting your friends for something, don't worry about this live stream, all right? You can always watch it later. And I appreciate you dropping by and say hi and have fun at the camera club gathering. Sounds like a great theme today. Looking at photos of reflection. It's one of the things that I like to shoot a lot during my street photography sessions. Rowan Capture says, good evening from Perth. Hello, how are you? Very good to see you again. Luis says, good afternoon from the UK. Hey, Luis, how are you? Good to see you here. Helldiver says, hello, Robin. Greetings from Poland. Hello, good to see you. Terry says, hi, Robin from the UK. Hi to you too. Nice to see you here. Luis says, I'm coding at my office while listening. Hopefully, whatever I'm saying here will not affect your work. Hey, in any bad way. Gregory says, hello, Robin, and all from Houston, Texas. Audio and video A-okay. Hey, Gregory, very good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. And hey, Rippy is in the house. Rajendra Putra, all good. Happy Halloween. Oh, it is Halloween already? Ah, okay. It's like, yeah, tomorrow is Halloween, right? We get it at midnight. Yeah, Malaysia is always a little bit ahead compared to the US or other parts of the world. Kamuyat Mariam says, hearing you loud and clear, Robin. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Kamuyat Mariam, nice to see you here again. All right, let me give you guys some updates on what's happening in my life. Last weekend, I was away. I wasn't in Kuala Lumpur. I was in Penang. So I went on Friday and came back on Sunday. On Sunday itself, there was an event for Ricoh GR Malaysia. It was sort of like the touch and try session for Ricoh GR4. I think this was the first Ricoh GR4 event in Penang, and I was invited to speak for the event. So about a month ago, I was loaned the Ricoh GR4 to test, so I did some street photography with it. I've already made a video about the Ricoh GR4 on this channel. Please watch it if you have not done so. And I was invited to share my photographs and talk about the product. And what I like about this session, let me just share the photographs. What I like about this session is that not only I get to interact with real human beings, like in physical real life, right, rather than here live stream. Not to say that you guys are any lesser than any less real than any human beings out there. It's just that there's something different and more magical about interacting in person, right? So it's been a while since I did this real life event. The last talk I gave was at Kuala Lumpur Photography Festival. That was in August. It was 2 months back. And it was really nice because in this session, Ricoh actually gave me full freedom. Like, they didn't tell me what to do, they didn't tell me what to say, they just say you have 1 hour. Just share your photographs and your thoughts about the Ricoh GR4. That's it. I was free to talk about anything. So because of that, I designed the presentation to be more photography centric. So I talk about my photographs more, how I compose my shots, what went in my mind about how I organize my photographs. There were 4 categories, right? And how about the visual storytelling component in my photographs, and it allowed me to be more of myself rather than talking about, hey, you know what, this product is the latest and greatest, it's so amazing. It wasn't like I was selling the product. And while I was talking about my photographs and how I capture my photographs, I talk about a little bit about Ricoh GR4 and the settings or the features or the capabilities of the camera and how it helped me to get my shots. So it was a very nice session, and special thanks to Billion. Billion was the one who captured all these photographs, and there were about 38 people who attended. One came all the way from Singapore and one came from Kedah. One from north, one from south. It was pretty amazing. And the event was at the COEX Kilang Besi. Kilang Besi is the steel factory, and technically it's inside Himbas Depot. If you are in Penang, you will know where Himbas Depot is at. It's very central. It's the place where all these amazing art and photography exhibitions or any events will be happening. So yeah, it was a pretty nice event. I enjoyed myself. The crowd was amazing. A lot of people asked a lot of questions, and I have a blast interacting with everyone. It was just amazing. Just again, let me say this again in case anyone missed it. These are obviously not my photographs. That's me in front giving the talk, and the person who took this photograph, the credit goes to Billion Lim. So special thanks to Billion for taking all these amazing photographs of me speaking at the event. All right. So yeah, and the seating arrangement was very interesting. Instead of like just a classroom setting, this is like more like a lecture hall, and it's like elevated and different levels, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I imagine things look really cool when you're all the way up there, right? So yeah. And people ask a lot of questions. I even remembered what this dude asked. He was asking how I got my verticals perfectly straight, because I was using wide angle lens, and typically you have that perspective distortion. Then I said that I made sure that the center line of the frame was exactly at the center. If I have lowered down the center line, then everything will be looking like they were falling behind, or there will be like all this exaggerated perspective distortion, right? So there are ways to prevent that when you are shooting. So I even remember the questions that they asked. Very good questions. And yeah, the crowd was fantastic. Everyone was very friendly. They were very cooperative. They were very positive. I just love the warmth of Penang people, and I do look forward to doing events in Penang again if I do find any future opportunities. Yeah, and yeah, it's really an amazing event. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. I hope that anyone who have been to this event, if you are watching this now, I hope that you have enjoyed yourself during the talk as much as I did. I hope you learned something from my sharing as well. So yeah, pretty much. And there were a few GR4s going around for everyone to try if they were interested in it. So yeah, I think this is the final shot of the day already. The final group photo. Futuromic is the official distributor of the GR or Pentax Ricoh in Malaysia. So GR4 falls under Futuromic, and I've been involved with Futuromic this year. I've been speaking for Nikon as well earlier this year, and now for the Ricoh event. I will be speaking for Ricoh again next month on the 16th. Is that correct? Where is the date? I don't see the date here. Yes, 16 November. It was at the star next to the hand. On 16 November, Sunday, 2 o'clock in Johor. So this time, I'll be going down south from Kuala Lumpur. I'm meeting some people in Johor. And this time, the event will be in a bookstore, which is quite interesting. I don't know how it will be. I've never been to this particular bookstore before, and I'll be sharing about same thing, my experience using the Ricoh GR4, and about my photography, and as much as I can about photography if anyone interested to come and listen to the talk. And the event is free. All you have to do is just register yourself, RSVP, and I hope to see some of you guys there. If you are in Johor, shout out to Johor, and yeah, it'll be really awesome. All right. Okay, That will be for later. On Monday, I released my video on the OM System 50-200 F2.8 PRO lens. It was sort of like my experience sharing. I brought this lens out to shoot some tennis, which I've talked about a little bit during last week's live stream. And it was really fun. I spent almost the entire day shooting tennis. If you've seen the sample photographs, you would have known that I've shot multiple matches. And if you know, one tennis game lasts about 1 to 2 hours, right? And there were at least 4 different games that I shot. So you do the math. How much time I spent shooting all these different players, all these different games, just to test this OM System 50-200 thoroughly, and then share my initial impression about it, my experience using it, what I like and dislike about the lens. So the video is already out on Monday. Please watch it if you have not done so. I had so much fun using the OM System 50-200 on my OM1, and I think I got some really nice shots from that tennis session, right? And it was such a joy to use. I have returned the lens to OM System Malaysia already. Unfortunately, I have to report that the video is not performing well. Currently, it's sitting at the bottom of all my my recent 10 videos that I've published, and the performance is even worse than the topic I made about the kit lens. So in one of the recent videos, I talk about why kit lenses are awesome, and it is kind of strange because of all the videos that I've done for lens, new lenses, right? Lens, whether it's review or not review, any lenses, cheap or expensive, pro lens or budget lenses, namely 40-150 f2.8 Pro or 12-100 f4 Pro, or any of the 1.2 Pro prime lenses like 45 1.2 Pro. I've done a video about that as well. I've also done videos about 12-200 lens. If I remember, I've done multiple videos about 75-300. Of all the lenses that I've done before, new and old, this video about the OM System 50-200 is the worst performing video up to date, and I don't understand why. Because first of all, it's still a new lens. I think it's relatively new. It's the latest product for Micro Four Thirds system, and it's the latest lens from OM System. And I think it is a fantastic lens. I would have thought that this topic would have gained more attention, or it will gain more view count. And it's strange because this is also the kind of topic that is very Micro Four Thirds specific. My channel is mostly targeting Micro Four Thirds viewers, and unlike my other videos, say if I did videos for Ricoh or GR4 or the Kodak Charmera, which I did recently, the toy camera, or if I talk about Sony or Fuji products or Nikon products, if my subscribers don't support me, it's fine, because there'll be still viewers from outside of my subscriber pools to come in and watch the video, and it'll still be somewhat successful, and the view count will improve over time, right? Let's say initially the videos are not doing well for a Nikon Z50 Mark II, or let's say the Kodak Charmera in the first week, it wasn't doing well, but over time, there are other subscribers, once YouTube push the views to people outside of my subscriber pool, the general viewers will come in and contribute to the overall view count of the video. So generally, it will still do quite well over time. But if OM System 50-200 video does not do well now, since initially YouTube will push it to my subscriber pools, which happens to be the Micro Four Thirds crowd, and if the Micro Four Thirds crowd is not interested in this lens, that's it. The video dies immediately. It just flatlines. There is no more chance for the video to go, to improve or get better over time. And it's really sad because, first of all, I do like the lens. I think it's a fantastic lens. And second of all, I did put a lot of effort in making that video, right? Taking the photographs during the tennis session and rushing to make the video out, because I only have limited time with the lens before I return it to OM System Malaysia. It's not my lens. All I can say is I'm very thankful that I did not do a full review, because if you've seen my full reviews from many years ago, I would have gone to multiple different locations. I would have gone to the bird park, to the zoo, to the tennis game. I would have shot a live concert. I would have shot event. I would have done street photography with it. And then I made a full review, and then imagine if that review bombs. I would have been so devastated. Imagine I spent like 2 weeks, 5-6 days going out, rushing to different locations to get all my shots, and then I spend really a lot of time to edit and sift through all the photographs and compile them to make a video, and the video doesn't do well. I would have been so miserable. So the saving grace here is that I did not put that much effort in that video. Thankfully, I did not. It seems like, well, you guys are not really interested in that video. So I'm not even sure if I want to publish my second part, because what's the point of me publishing a video if nobody watches? Tell me. Right, so there's that, the video on the OM System 50-200. So if you guys have any additional questions about that lens, if you guys want to know a bit more, I'm sort of like making this particular live stream as a Q&A as well. If you have anything you want to know about the 50-200 based on my experience, please ask me anything. I'll try my best to answer them as well, right? Okay. So this is diving into the topic for today already. I think other than that, there's nothing much for me to update. I have a few shoots there and here, a few jobs. I've talked about going to Johor in the next 2 weeks on the 16th of November to talk about the Ricoh GR event, and that's it. Other than that, nothing much to talk about already. All right, so before we dive into the topic, which is the updated lens roadmap for OM Digital Solutions, OM System Lens Roadmap, let me drink coffee and get to the chat. Coffee, coffee, coffee. All right. Let's see. As usual, I will respond or reply to chats from members first. If you're not a member, don't worry, I'll get to you a little bit later. If you're a member, your name is highlighted in green and there's a star badge next to your name, right? So members get to priorities. Let's see. Dan says, who is going out to on Halloween and get some cool photographs of all the crazy costumes? I'm going to head downtown. Every year I get great photographs. It's not a big thing here in Malaysia. I don't think anyone dresses up. It's not our cultural thing. But yeah, I think if Halloween is a huge thing where you are, that thing, it will be a fantastic opportunity to work your camera. And I hope you guys got some really cool shots. All right, let's see. Rowan Capture says, I would love to get the 50-200, but I can only afford a used 40-150R at the moment. And my next video, teaser, the next video coming out on Monday is about the 40-150R. Again, I've made so many videos about that lens. And I think it's a fantastic lens. For what it is, the quality that you get out of the lens is amazing. And I don't think that there's anything bad to say about that 40-150R. I would use that lens anytime without any hesitation, right? So if you don't have that lens already, Rowan Capture, get it. I don't think you will regret it. I think you'll get some fantastic shots with that lens, right? Tomato says, did you get yourself a bowl of Penang laksa? No, I did not. I don't have a lot of time, actually. I said I was there on Friday, right? No, I went there on Saturday. And I left on Sunday after the event. So on Saturday, when I arrived at 4, I had Dimatis. If you are in Penang, you know what Dimatis is. I have Dimatis nasi tomato and fried chicken, which is fantastic. It's a must-have. Typically, you have to wait about 1 hour to get to line up, right, to get to the food. But I lined up for about 10 minutes only, so it was fantastic. And there was quite a huge portion, right? And I already had heavy lunch before that, so I wasn't really hungry. So at night, I had char kway teow, which is what's on this light box here. I don't know how long this light box will stay alive. It refused to turn on for 5 minutes earlier. Don't be surprised next week we don't have this light box anymore. So I had the char kway teow for dinner, lo bak, and otian, which is oyster omelette at night. Char kway teow is fried flat rice cake. Something rice noodles, flat rice noodles, fried flat rice noodles. That was for dinner. And breakfast, I had buffet breakfast from the hotel because I woke up early. I did some shuttle therapy in the morning, came back, checked out of the hotel, went to a nearby cafe near the event space, just had some quick sandwich, and that's it. Because I didn't want to be too adventurous. I don't want to eat too much stuff before the event, right? I just need to make sure that I'm 100% fit and healthy to deliver my presentation. So no spicy stuff, nothing too adventurous. And immediately after the event, we drove back to Kuala Lumpur already. So not much chance to try all the crazy food. I will make another trip to Penang very, very soon. And in that trip, I'll eat a lot more stuff. All right. Dan says, I love the 40-150R between my 12-40 F2.8 PRO, 40-150R, and 75-300. I feel like I have any focal length I can need now. Yes, 40-150 is such an amazing lens. You'll see what I talk about next week on Monday, my video. Roaring Capture says, as for what I would like to see from one system or Panasonic is a range of budget-friendly fast zoom lenses like 12-40, F2.8, but without features like weather sealing and fancy metal. Okay, so you want a budget 12-40, you just want the optical quality, right? That's an interesting take. All right. Okay, let's get to a few more chats. Nan says, hey Robin, greetings from Ohio, USA. Hey Nan, how are you? Martin says, hey Robin, greetings from New Mexico. Hey Martin, good to see you here. Jason Wright says, hi Robin, just wanted to say howdy. Best regards from Ottawa, Canada. Hey Jason, good to see you here. Wolfie says, hey Robin, and Shutterbuggers. Shutterbuggers. That doesn't sound right, Wolfie. I would love all of you, but not more than I love photography. Yes, photography is awesome. Nice to see you again, Wolfie. Hope you're well. Faja says, hi Robin, I wish OM system released a new telephoto lens, 300mm with lightweight, because China's smartphone flagship compete to make telelens like Oppo and Vivo did. Then buy the 75-300. What's wrong with that lens? I think 75-300 is a fantastic lens and it is as budget as it can be. And for a budget lens, 75-300 is really, really, really amazing, right? And I've made so many videos about the 75-300 lens already, all right? Louis says, everyone there look like super nice people. Wish everyone was everyone professional. I have curiosity to attend to one of these type of events, but I'm just taking photography as a hobby. No, I think everyone was a hobbyist. I don't remember anyone being a professional photographer there, or if they are, they did not say they are. We are just talking to each other like, hey, you know, we are interested about this new product, Ricoh GR4. I've tested it before. If you have any questions, you can ask me. But at the same time, the whole session I've turned into like a photography sharing session. I talk about my street photography and how I got my shots, the visual storytelling component and everything. It turned into like a very nice photography chat, which I think was really fun. And anyone is free to I actually allow people to interrupt me, much like this live stream session, and anyone can stop me anytime and ask any question, right? So it was a really cool session. Muffy says, Robin, I think from those that do know of the lens are detracted from the price and the potential of them being able to afford it. That's not true. Like, for example, this was before, say, I think, when was that? This was way before my YouTube time. When Olympus 300 F4 was launched, like, I don't think a lot of people can afford that lens, but people still watch the video. Watching the video is free. You get what I mean? Like, it doesn't cost you anything. You can watch the video. And usually when the product is new and it has certain buzz around it, people will watch regardless of whether they buy or not. Like, you can look around Leica cameras. Do you think that millions and millions of people who watch Leica camera and lens reviews can buy them? No. I think it's only like less than 1% of the people watching it can afford it. But just because you can't afford that product doesn't mean you don't watch it. And I find it very strange because if my subscribers don't watch it, then no one else will. Because hey, most of my subscribers are Macro Four Thirds users, right? You guys are using Macro Four Thirds. If you guys don't watch it, then who else is gonna watch it, right? No one's gonna care. Canon shooters will not watch the OM System 50-200. Sony users don't really care about it, so it's pretty much just Macro Four Thirds users, right? So yeah. Astrom says, I think 50-200 video was a great review. Few others talk about using this lens for sports photography. Oh, there are others? I have not seen any of them. I'll be very curious to see what others use it for, right? Mostly I see it's just wildlife and birds. So I also tried to contribute something different, try to do something different. Instead of just doing wildlife and birds, I did sports, shooting tennis. So bringing something a little bit different to the table, right? Hopefully that helps, you know. Wolfie says, maybe compare it to the average views of super telephoto lenses. You want to compare it? Sure. Sure, Wolfie. Okay, Robin Wong. 40-150mm Pro. My 40-150mm Pro has 64,000 views. Okay. My Olympus 40-150 F4 Pro has 30,000 views. right? So the first one I talked about was F2.8. The second one was, oh wait, sorry. The F4 Pro is actually 48,000 views, not 30. I have two videos. Why do I have two videos? Now I don't remember. I have two videos about the 40 to 150 F4 Pro, right? One got 48,000 views, one got 30,000 views. 40 to 150R, 78,000 views. Okay, what other lenses? I don't think I have 300mm lens here. Maybe I know my 75-300 is one of the top videos on the channel. 75-300mm Robin Wong. Let me just check it. 166,000 views. Like, all my super telephoto lenses are doing incredibly well. Every single one. Lumix 100 to 300, 34,000 views. Right. Okay, another one, 100 to 400, right? Robin Wong, 100 to 400mm. I have Mark 1 and Mark 2, so let's go to the Mark 1 first. I have multiple videos about the Mark 1 version. The first review was 70,000 views. The second video was talking about why 100 to 400mm images are soft, and here are the reasons why. 71,000 views. And looking at how the trajectory of the current review, the current video for the 50 to 200 OM system is not going to even touch 10,000. It's gonna be maybe just died at 7 or 8,000 and cap off, and that's it. Compared to 166,000 views on the 75-300 or 70,000 views of 100 to 400. If I combine all the multiple videos that I've done for the Olympus 100 to 400, it's easily 200,000 views. I've done so many videos on the 100 to 400, right? So something doesn't add up. Something is strange. Like, the only other explanation that I can think of is something happened to YouTube. This has nothing to do with my subscribers. This has nothing to do with Micro Four Thirds, nothing to do with the product, nothing to do with OM system. It's just YouTube messing up the algorithm. Like, they're just doing something, trying something new, and it affects the view count. That's another far possibility they can think of, right? Santik says, "Hey Robin, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well." Hey Santix, I'm doing quite alright, no worries. Woofy says, "Hello Santix." You guys start to know each other already. Okay, you guys talk to each other, no worries, that's great. Santix says, "I got my 60 f2.8, so yet to really use it." Oh, okay. I'll be sharing some macro photographs today, so hopefully that inspires you to pick up your 60 f2.8 and get some macro shots going. How does the cost of the 5200 compare to 300? I thought they're almost the same, right? They're almost the same. During launch, that's it. I think now the 300, no, I think the 300 went up. The price did not come down, it went up. So they're about the same price. But then again, it's like, you can't compare those two lenses, Wolfie. You can't do what 300mm can do with the 50 to 200. Because at 200, it doesn't reach 300. You can say you can add teleconverter, but it's not the same. Instead of f2.8, then you lose your aperture brightness, and you have some compromise in terms of image quality once you add on teleconverter, right? And when you use the 300, you can't shoot anything like wider than that. Like, if I'm shooting a tennis player, I don't want to be stuck at the head and the shoulder all the time, right? Half body. Sometimes I want to shoot the entire body of the tennis player running. That's when I will zoom out to 100 or 150, like what you see on my video, right? I don't want to be stuck at 200 or 300 all the time. So what you can do with the 300, you can't do with 50 to 200. What you can do with the 50 to 200, you can't do with the 300. They are both very different lens. Like, I wouldn't... For tennis, I would say 50 to 200 is a better lens. 300 was very restrictive, very, very restrictive. Yeah, but for birds, that's a different story, right? The 300 will definitely win when you want to shoot birds, because birds are usually very far away and you want as much reach as possible. So yeah. George says, how much of views is due to general interest in YouTube algorithm? Yeah, like as I mentioned before, maybe YouTube algorithm is affecting the views generally. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes and how much the algorithm is affecting. And the thing is, this algorithm, it changes all the time. It's so hard to keep track of what's going on. So yeah. Har says, speaking of kit lens, I did pick up a 1250 and spent about a day and a half taking shots at the Stat Fairvit. Initial thoughts are good, but won't have time to review shots until this weekend. I love the 1250. I think it's a fantastic lens. Sally says, from my trip to Setiawan last week, I used the 25 f1.8 all the way, though I have the 14 to 42 and 40 to 150 kit with me. Yeah, I would do the same too. I'm a 50mm shooter, so I'll just use the 25 f1.8 for all my shots. Tomato says, sounds like a good trip. The food seems to have evolved since the last time I was there. Of course, hey, over time things change, right? Ryan Kesha says, and I've had the 4150 before, but I saw it as a bundle with my EM10. It is quite impressive for its price. Then get it again, because it's not expensive, right? I'm sure you'll love it. Dan says, now that I shoot manual a lot, my 1260 Leica adjustable aperture f2.8 f4 bugs me. Wish they could make a constant f2.8. Then use the Olympus 12-40 f2.8, right? Not a problem. Wow, I'm really behind on my chat already. Let me speed up. Hey Andrew, very good to see you here. Andrew, how are you? Andrew says, hi Robin, came in a bit late. You're not late. We are still at the start of the stream. How is everything? Hope all is well. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks for being here. Tomato says, for a moment I thought Wolfie was watching Uncle Roger. Ryan Kesha says, can I use the 60 f2.8 for regular photos? You can, but it's not the fastest autofocusing lenses out there. It's optimized for macro, so you can, but if you have other lenses, then the other lenses will do a better job. Yeah. Rajendra Putra says, it's only been 3 days. Give time, the views could start rising. No. Repeat, so this is how the algorithm works. It will push to your subscribers, and if the topic is if your subscribers watch the topic, then there's a chance for YouTube to push it outside of your subscribers. If your subscribers don't watch the video, then your video will suffer premature death. So your subscribers is sort of like gatekeeping the performance of your videos. That's how YouTube works. And in some cases, YouTube will still try to get the views from outside of your subscriber pool. If the topic has nothing to do with your subscribers, let's say I do something about Sony, right? And my audience, they're mostly interested in Micro Four Thirds. So they don't watch Sony a lot, but YouTube will still try to get Sony users to come in and watch the video. So in this particular case, because it's 50 to 200, and it's a very Micro Four Thirds specific topic, if my subscribers don't watch it, that's it. That's the end of the line. There's no more second life, no more second chance. The video will not have another opportunity to rise. It will just flatline. I've seen this happen many, many, many times. If the topic about Micro Four Thirds flops, that's it. There's no chance for anyone else to watch it anymore. And here's another fact. If the video doesn't reach 10,000 views in a few months, I will take down the video for members only. Gary says, I always watch your videos because of your photographs, and a 50 to 200 video did not disappoint. Thank you so much. Probably not a lens I would never ever get. Never say never. Nah, doesn't really matter. Thanks for the kind words, Gregory. Let me just get to as many chat as I can. Wolfie says, well, you did say anything. Anyway, I can get that lens with broke has no money. Sunny says, not that many photos taken due to gloomy and drizzling weather, but did take nice photos of places or when the sun shines. That's awesome. Louis says, it looks like an expensive lens. It is an expensive lens. Eric says, hey Robin, as much as I love to see new OM lenses, I'm not sure I would afford them. The 50 to 200 is priced at $3,600 US, which is more than I paid for a car. Yeah, the price is really scary, right? I can't afford it as well, just to be honest. Astrom says, my suggestion for new lenses, updated with the sealed 75 1.8 and maybe an OM's version of the Sigma Art 7040 f1.8. All right, I think people are starting to talk about the topic already. So let me just jump into the topic now and then I'll resume on the chat, right? Don't worry, I'll get to every single chat. Where were we? Let me drink some coffee. Coffee first. It's already 10:30 here. More than 10:30. Where is the roadmap? So, after the launch of... Okay, I know it's tiny, but don't worry about it. You can look at this in the OM Systems official product page anyway. So this is just like a screen capture of what they've published there. Immediately after the launch of the 50 to 200 lens, there is an updated roadmap. right? Lens roadmap for OM system products. And traditionally, from at least 10 years ago, right? Every time there's the roadmap update, you will see something being teased, like something being grayed out, or there's something that's coming in the future. They'll be teasing you about future lenses. So lenses that I've teased before were the 90 f3.5 macro. They also tease about this 50 to 200 f2.8 PRO, right, which has just been launched. They have also teased the 150 to 600, which also was launched. And then they tease about what other lenses they tease. They tease so many lenses, right, including the F1.8 weather sealed lenses, the 17 and 25 F1.8 Mark II, the weather sealed versions. There were many lenses that were there. I think previously 8 to 25 was also teased in the lens roadmap. I can't remember all the lenses that were teased, but and finally being fulfilled. And it's very satisfying, and it's very nice for them to do this because it shows that they are committed. It shows that they care about the future and they want you to stay interested. So they are teasing you, they are giving you little nuggets of information, they sprinkle all these little dots or lines on the roadmap and tell you, hey, this is coming. Watch out. In 1 or 2 years, you'll get to see these products. And they have been very good at fulfilling all these products, which is really, really cool. I just thought that it's a good way to encourage or to inspire loyalty. It's a good way to inspire confidence in your customers, right? In us. We are the Olympus and OM system supporters, and we want to see more and more products coming. And it's just kind of strange, like when you look at this roadmap that was published immediately after the 50 to 200, there were no mention or no hint of anything new coming. Nothing is being teased. There's 0 new products in the roadmap, and which begs the question, why publish a roadmap if you're not going to put in anything new? Which is strange. Are you telling us that, okay, that's it, there are no more lenses coming? Or I don't know. I would like to think that they are changing their approach. I think by hinting future lenses in the roadmap, it also creates unnecessary and very bloated sense of expectation from the customers. Like people are expecting really big and great things from OM system, right? And if they fail to deliver, it will backfire on them. Maybe that's what they thought. So instead of teasing and hinting on future products, they say, no, we will not do that anymore. Let's just launch them when we are ready. Maybe that's the new approach moving forward. But I thought having some nuggets of information like way in advance would be really nice, right? What do you guys think? Do you think that knowing what will come is good for us, or do you guys don't want to know anything at all? Like, I prefer not to know anything. If it launches, it launches. What do you guys think? Or what do you guys think this means? And there's no tease of anything on the roadmap. Does it mean that there will be no more products coming, or I don't know, right? It's not really inspiring much confidence here. There's nothing much nice to say. And I guess what I want to turn this conversation into is maybe on the lens wish list. We have quite an extensive collection of lenses already coming from Olympus and OM system for Micro Four Thirds. If you add in the collection from Panasonic, it's also even more extensive. I think we cover a lot of ground when it comes to Micro Four Thirds system. Well, let me know in the chat what other lenses you want to see coming from OM system or Panasonic. What are the missing lenses? What lenses would you like to have or buy to add into your arsenal? I guess that will be a better discussion moving forward rather than looking at the sad roadmap and see that there's nothing else coming. Let me know in the chat. Let me drink some coffee. I'll get to the chat, all right? All right. Okay, that's the roadmap. Let me see if there's any members chat. Get to members chat first. Gregor says, I got a really good price on the Zugo 200 F4 direct from Olympus. You mean the 300 F4, right? It was reasonably light and compact. I just did not have a use case for it. Or is it the film lens 200 F4 for the film cameras back then? Because I'm not aware of any 200 F4 from Olympus. Yeah. Tuana says, I did hear that people watching with ad block tracker blockers won't have their views. The views will be added, but the monetization will not be counted. Even if you use ad blocks, you will still see it. I mean, people have been using ad blocks since the first day, right? Okay. What I don't understand is, how can my kit lens video about a lens that is more than 10 years old, right? When was the kit lens launched? The 12 to 50 was launched in 2012. How can a 13-year-old lens, in terms of views, do better than the new OM System 50 to 200? That doesn't make sense, right? For my subscribers, like, you guys are more interested in the old lens, really? So that doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, Gregory says, even if OM Digital Solutions feel like they have spanned the space of Micro Four Thirds lenses, they should be improving existing lenses. That is true. It was a film lens. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, let me get to the non-members chat. I'm a bit behind. It's your favorite, Wolfie. That's awesome. I guess you'll be taking more photographs during the Halloween. Wolfie says, I only wish OM would release a 40-150R with even a simple weather-resistant design. Weather sealing, right? I don't know. Maybe they should, right? Like, why don't they? Since, you know, I think some of the kit lenses are weather sealed. 1250 is weather sealed. 60 F2.8 macro is weather sealed. So why not 40-150R? It's one of the popular lenses that they have, right? Chuck says 50-200 is pretty pricey for hobbyists. Though if I found big wide 5 or 6K, I might debate selling my car for it. I think I'm not going to argue whether it's pricey or reasonable. I think it is what it is. And it is good to have options. If you need it, then you'll find a need for it, right? You'll definitely find a way to get the lens. And let's say that your job, if you're a professional photographer, and that hits the sweet spot of what you need, the focal length, right? The zoom range, 50-200, it gets your shots. And then I think it's justified to get that lens, regardless of the price, right? Yeah, but then again, if I don't need 50-200, I rarely need anything more than 100 actually for the things that I do. And that's why even the 75 F1.8 is more than good enough. And if I need anything longer, 40-150 is there to save the day, right? So yeah, but another thing I did not mention, which I wish I had during the tennis session in that video, was that I have friends shooting with me using 40-150 F2.8 Pro. I have two friends. And I was the only one with the 50-200 because OM System Malaysia only had one lens, 50-200, and I was given the priority and privilege to use that lens throughout the entire session. I did not share the lens with anyone. I was that selfish. Sorry, Ken. Sorry, Van. I realized that, man, I should have let them use it for a while. Anyway, the past is the past. What I want to say is, based on my experience using 40-150 in the past, shooting tennis as well, and based on what my friends told me during the session, 150 was not long enough. 200 was just nice. 300 is too long. I've shot with 300 before. You can check my previous videos. I've reviewed the EM5 Mark III with 300 shooting tennis. I've reviewed, God knows what else I've reviewed, shooting tennis with the 300. I've shot multiple times. 300 is just too long. For some shots, yes, but not for the entire session. Sometimes you want the tight close-up shots of the player's face, and you know, like, you want to get really close. That's fine, but not every single shot, right? Because you want to see the whole body. Because it's like when tennis players run and grab the shot, it's like they are dancing. It's very dramatic. You want to see the legs spread out for the running forehand. You want to see like the whole body flying, like floating in the air. You know, you don't want all the tight shots. So, and 150 is just not long enough. Just not long enough. 200 is just nice. And when you add a teleconverter to the 40-150, instead of f2.8, you have to shoot at f4. You lose one stop of light. Okay, aperture is one thing. You can bump up the ISO, no problem. But we all know that once you add on a teleconverter, there is some compromise in terms of image quality. You lose a bit of contrast, a bit of sharpness. Yes, you don't pixel peep, everything looks fine, but it's not the same as the native 200mm f2.8 on the lens. In this situation, I find that 50-200 was just perfect for tennis. 40-150 was just not enough, right? So I'm not saying that, oh, you know, like you must have 50-200 if you shoot tennis. You can still make it work. You can still crop. I'm not saying that, oh, you know, like this is like must have or you die kind of situation. But options option is not a bad thing. And this is a really good option. Having used it, I can say, shooting tennis, I can see why OM system made this lens, to fill that gap. You can say 150, 200 is not that much difference, but when you really shoot, there is a big difference. And it's already 200 without adding teleconverter. It makes more sense using the 50 to 200 to shoot tennis compared to the 40 to 150. I just thought I want to share this. I should have said this in that Monday's video. I don't know why I missed that out. But anyway, again, what's done is done, right? Sunday says, yeah, Penang work trip must be fun and tasty trip. Of course, I ate a lot. Helldiver says, the question is whether the 50-200 is worth to make an extra room for the ones who already owns 40-150. I just answered the question. It is definitely worth it. Depends. If you don't shoot tennis, if you find that 150 is too long already, you don't need 150, then the 50 to 200 doesn't make sense. It's not necessary. But if you find that 150 is not enough, but 300 is too long, and bear in mind that the 300 millimeters is fixed. You can't go wider, right? Then 50 to 200 makes a lot more sense, right? And 100 to 400, like, why would you want to compare 100 to 400 to 50 to 200? I can't do what I can do 50 to 200 with 100 to 400, right? Like, for example, I'm shooting an event in low light. If I use 100 to 400, it's what, f6.3? Like, if you zoom into 200, it's already f6. That's not very nice. And if I zoom to 200 and 50 to 200, it's f2.8. So instead of using ISO 6400, I can get away with ISO 1600. That is a massive difference. Again, whether the price is overkill or not, I'm not defending OM system here. I'm not ambassador anymore. If you need it, you need it. If you don't need it, you don't need it. If you need it, it will not be expensive. Trust me. Because it's the lens that's going to get your shots. And the shots will be priceless, right? Or it's going to be the one that makes you the money that you're earning as a photographer, right? So, you know, it's justified. Again, yeah, everyone is different. We all shoot differently. We all use the lenses differently. And I can't speak for you, but I can say in that particular scenario, shooting tennis, 50 to 200. Like, seriously, I can see why. It's such an amazing lens. Movie says, I was in a situation yesterday where I wish I had a brighter lens. It was less than 20 meters away from a young male deer, 5:30, and it was very dark. I saw 25,600, 1/8 of a second at 500 f6.7. What lens is that? 500. Is it a Nikon lens? Okay, that's scary. 25,600. At that point, Woofy, I would just give up. I would just give up. 25,601.8, like, nah. I'll just go grab a cup of coffee or something. Sunday says, as for the topic, I'm hoping OM system to make a wider and same or longer tele and collapsible kit lens, electronically collapsible but mechanically, electronically zoomable. Wow, that's a very complicated thing. So you want a 1250, but you want it wider, like maybe more specific. So it's like 1040 mm, right? And you want it to be electronically collapsed. What does that even mean? I don't understand. Man! Also a 20 mm budget lens from OM system. Why? I would rather Panasonic update the 20 mm, right? They can do it. They can make it faster and they can make it budget. Yeah. Sunday says, maybe next year there will be, it seems OM system still moving with new lenses once a while. But all the lenses that they moved have been teased. They were just fulfilling these lenses, and all these lenses were teased even before OM system existed, most of them, right? The macro lens, 90 f3.5, the 150 to 600, 50 to 200, they were already teased during the Olympus time. They were only fulfilling the lenses, right? So, yeah. Recent YouTube advertisement for OM system seem to move new direction from wildlife. It's a system featuring landscape, macro, and street photos. I doubt that. Woofy says, I agree with Santix. Wish OM would come out with an updated 12 to 50. No, Santix wishes that it's wider, right? And electronically collapsible, which whatever that means. Since it's discontinued to update in a bit and make a pair of telephoto internal zoom, whether resistant, whether sealed, affordable option, maybe 50-200 f5.6. Okay, that makes sense. Louis says, I got a Minolta 51.7 with an adapter for my Olympus Mark II. Is it EM5 Mark II? Is it EM1 Mark II? Is it EM10 Mark II? Which Mark II is that? And I love it. Have you tested any vintage? No. No autofocus, no go for Robin. Life is too short for manual focus. Wing says, I love my micro four thirds cameras, but I do think the system needs young users. OM or Lumix need to get some fancy non-pro cameras out. Am I not young enough? Am I that old? Just kidding, Wing. Well, here's the thing, right? It's a tricky situations. Young users can't afford expensive gear. Typically, that's the general idea, and they want the people that buy the gear to be able to afford the cameras and lenses. And typically the range of people they target are in 40s, 50s, not in the 20s or 30s when they just started working and they haven't reached the financial stability or financial ability to purchase expensive gear. So they're targeting people who are already financially more capable, right? So yeah, you gotta understand how the market works. Yoni says, I recently got myself a 25 F1.2 Pro for OM1 and I love it very much. I'm now deciding whether I should get a 25 1.8 for EM5 Mark III for everyday carry. Oh, get it! I love the 25 F1.8. I've made so many videos talking about them. I have nothing bad to say about that lens. It's just amazing. Chuck says, the 6mm Laowa is an amazing lens. I love for OM to make a weather sealed retina lens of the same focal length. I think they can. I just don't know why they don't. Right. I think they can. They just don't do it, which is very strange. Sunny says, for creators, adventurers, explorers, it's more than a camera, more than a lens, more than accessories. It's a system, OM system. And are these words supposed to mean anything? Like, these are just advertisement garbage, right? Do you really listen to all these things? I don't think that they actually carry any value or any meaning at all. The Great Vanzini says, good morning, Robin. Always enjoy looking up the week's food dish. Thank you so much. It's one of the popular dishes in Penang. I was just in Penang in the weekend for technically work. So I was speaking for Ricoh GR event, which I've shared earlier. I shared a bunch of photographs about me doing my presentation on the Ricoh GR4 for the Penang people. Mufi says, there has been recent complaints about YouTube is affecting many channels and tanking a significant income in the last few weeks. Well, thankfully my main income is not from YouTube, so I don't really care about that. Whatever I earn from YouTube is supplementary, is extra, so I'm always very thankful for whatever I get from YouTube, so it doesn't really matter if the income just is not doing as well. But I do care about, like, if I put this amount of effort into making this video, if the video is not doing well, if nobody watches it, then what's the point of me making the video, right? I'd rather just talk about bokeh, and the bokeh gets more views. You get what I mean? Rather than going to shoot tennis under the hot sun, being roasted, and sweat and everything. You get what I mean, right? So much effort and then get nothing out of it. Sandy says, I hope they cater to other than wildlife market, street landscape, and macro. That's what I've been saying all this time. That's what we've been saying all this time, right? And I don't think they listen. If they have, they would have listened by now, right? If by now they haven't done anything, then I think we should give up on them trying to change or do anything different, right? Yeah. OM system was since 1936. Nah, OM system logo was since what? 2017? No. 2017, they haven't died yet. They died in 2019. So since 2020. OM system logo since 2020. Iman says, Aman Bobin! Hey Iman, how are you? Good to see you here. Alright, you guys are talking to each other, no worries. Sunday says, 1250 is a very nice lens, but a bit too long for EPO9. Really, top heavy if you know what I mean, but it's a very versatile lens. If they can modernize it, they make it even collapsible. But it has internal zoom. Like, people want one thing, then they complain about this. They want the other thing. I'll be like, come on, that 1250 says internal zoom. And I think I'll take the internal zoom than being collapsible. And having that internal zoom also makes the lens a lot more durable. Right? It's less prone to damage, less prone to having any issues in the future. And because a lot of this collapsible mechanism, whether it's Panasonic 12-32 or Olympus 14-42, if you look at the forums and look at the chats and all the responses and feedback, people say these lenses, they break apart too easily just because of it's collapsible. So I don't mind sacrificing a bit of size, and the 12-50 is not impossible. And you gotta understand what the 12-50 is, right? Not only it has internal zoom, it has internal focus, then it has weather sealing, it has macro, it has electronic zoom, right? Like, you get a lot out of that lens. It is incredible. And to expect that lens to be smaller and collapsible, like, I don't think that's gonna happen. So if you want it to be collapsible, then you're going to compromise on weather sealing. Then you're going to compromise on internal zoom. You got to take away internal zoom, right? They're going to take away the macro. And then why don't you just buy the 1442 or the Panasonic 1232, right? Movie says, oh, now I think I know what's going on. I think YouTube is still balancing the new hype feature where users can push a video on higher distribution with less force needed from algorithm. I don't think hype is available in Malaysia yet. None of us get the hype feature. Like, do you guys have hype feature anywhere else you guys are at? Hart says, thoughts on the 50-200 is probably a great lens, but considering where it sits in the lineup and for the price, it's just not lucrative enough for me. Use 40-150 f2.8. It's 750-900 on eBay. People keep comparing 40-150 Pro to 50-200 Pro. I understand, okay? And I've used the 40-150 Pro a lot of times, and I think it's a fantastic lens. Nothing wrong. If you have that lens, if it's good enough for what you need to do, stay with it. There's no reason to get 50-200, but there are situations, and trust me, there are many situations where 150 is not enough. And they say, oh, there are other lenses, right? 100-400 or 300, but 300 is f4. 100-400 is like f6 point something, right? f6.3. It's not f2.8. So when 150 is not enough, what do? You add teleconverters. Then you compromise on image quality. You compromise, instead of f2.8, it becomes f4. That's not that attractive, right? So that's where 50-200 comes in. Straight away get 200. And it really helps. It makes a massive difference. That 150-200 for tennis, in that situation, I'm going to throw it out there. It's not just for tennis. If you're shooting football, if you're shooting like basketball, shooting anything, that 50, if you need the reach, it's gonna make such a big difference. Rather than you add on teleconverter, right? I can see where it matters. I also can understand where it doesn't matter for some people. Like if you think that 150 is already good enough, you don't need that additional reach. You think that, oh, I have plenty of reach already, I rarely zoom all the way to 150, then you don't need the 50-200. But you cannot negate the need of what other people might find useful. Right? There are situations, like I've told you, I shot tennis with my friends. From my experience as well, they said, well, 150 is just not enough. I wish it's a bit longer, but 300 is just too long. And you can't negate the need for that. Like, this is the problem with, okay, a lot of people say, I don't need it, so nobody else needs it. I find this useless, so everyone should find it useless as well. That is a very selfish and narrow way of looking at things. I try to be as open-minded as possible, and I found one very specific situation, I'm sure this is not unique, that the 50-200 is a superior lens compared to 40-150. If I'm shooting tennis for a living, right, I will instantly upgrade to 50-200, no doubt, in a heartbeat. If it brings me money, if it brings me income, I will immediately get a 50-200, no doubt, right? So there you go. Let's check members' comments first. Let's see. Gary says, if I were a lens camera manufacturer, I would be watching the used market to see what people want and are willing to pay for. GM15 Pan F would do well. I'm sure they do, and they just ignore everything, right? That's the typical trend. Like, they don't care. Rowan Capture says, I would like to see a 40-150R to get updated and made faster, something I love, as well as the aperture ring on the lenses. Faster meaning brighter aperture, because in terms of autofocus, I think the autofocus is doing well. It's fast enough, right? But if you want to make it brighter, then it's not going to be a budget lens anymore. It's going to be quite expensive. They might as well just get a 40-150 f2.8 Pro. You already have that lens, right? Mika says, I sold the 40-150 Pro to offset some of the costs of the 50-200. 50-200 is a great range for me because I almost always had the 1.4 teleconverter on the 40-150. Yes! This is one situation and one great example where if it's not enough, it's not enough. And you really appreciate the 50-200. Now you don't need the teleconverter anymore and you can shoot at f2.8. And that one stop can make a world of difference. It does. Like, seriously, instead of ISO 6400, you can shoot ISO 3200. Instead of ISO 3200, you can shoot ISO 1600. It's massive, right? Especially for micro four thirds. Yeah. Like, Mika gets it, right? I think they have a good range of lenses. Time to start doing updates to the existing lenses. Yes, they need to relook in some of the older lenses and update them as well. Nick says, if OM would release a 14-1.4 in a 20mm body, I will buy, nah. 14-1.4 will be as big, even bigger than 25-1.2. it will be bigger than 25 1.2. Gregory says, my dad had some amazing shots on safari in Kenya with Yashica 35 GSN. The secret was getting close. Not too close though, Gregory. Not too close. You don't want to get eaten by the lion. Seeing Olympus all-in-ones being used by photographers at the top of the Mount Everest in National Geographic magazine carried a lot of weight in the early 1970s. Yes, that is true. That is true. I guess Nat Geo photographers have always been very instrumental in influencing people's choices of gear over the years, right? Rowan Capture says, I don't like my 12-50 really. It has a lot of fringing, isn't that sharp. Mine is perfectly sharp. Like, I don't know, if you ever seen my recent video on the 12-50, like, I don't see any fringing. I think it's perfectly amazing. I think the shots I got from the lens is as expected from any kit lenses. Nothing more, nothing less, right? And it does its job well. Right, it has weather sealing, it has macro, which is fantastic. Like, how many kit lenses can go that close? And for what it is, I think the sharpness is fantastic. And I've demonstrated in that video. I'm not going to repeat myself again. So yeah. Original Jumpshot says, hi Robin, hey, how are you? Nice to see you here. I hope a future lens release will be an updated 45 1.8 but weather sealed. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, right? 1725 f1.8 has a version 2 with weather sealing. Why doesn't the 45 f1.8 get weather sealing and version 2 as well? Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? And that's like, I think between 1725 and 45, I think 45 is more popular. I could be wrong. I don't have the sales data already because I've left the company for so many years already, but 45 has always been popular, right? Wing says, that's really sad because 50 to 200 video shows how sharp the lens is. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. The part 2 will show it even better because that will be more focused on image quality because the part 1 was tennis. You don't really want to see the chest hair of the tennis player. Right, so it's not the best place to test sharpness. But part 2 will be more on the sharpness. But I'm a bit hesitant on releasing the part 2, knowing that part 1 didn't do well. Part 2 might just do worse, right? Louis says, can you sleep after drinking coffee so late? Yes, I can. No problem. Camille says, good morning from Toronto. Go Blue Jays. No idea what that is. Sunny says, 10 to 50 collapsible kit lens. Like, I don't know, like, have you seen the complaints of all these lenses breaking apart? If you have, then maybe you will not be wishing for all this collapsible design. Yeah, I also, like, for a time, understand why, like 918, collapsible, like 1232 collapsible, all those lenses. For a period of time, like, I get it, like, they want to make it small, but after a while, I would rather have the lens to be slightly larger, but more durable. You get what I mean? Like, what's the point of using the lens for a year and you have to keep servicing it every now and then, right? Wolfie says, there are so many lenses that OM can update. They can fill the gaps. They can try and compete with alternatives in other systems. There is no shortage of ideas and choices, but there is shortage of will or resources maybe. They don't have enough resources or R&D capabilities to roll out all these new lenses. I don't know. I'm just guessing, right? Yeah. Wolfie says, Fuji came out with a new kit lens, 13 to 33, but that lens is very limiting, right? It's like, I would rather use the 16 to 50, which they have, which I think is excellent, than the 13 to 33. Like, when I want to use a lens, a kit lens, I want the lens to do everything. So in this case, a good example will be the Olympus 12 to 50. I can just use that one lens and do almost everything and not change lens unless I have to. 16 to 50 may not be as versatile as Olympus 12 to 50, but it's good enough. It's good enough for most situations. But 13 to 33, that is very limiting. And I do shoot longer. If I was to shoot an event, I mean, in places where I use the kit lens, event, right? 33 is 50. 50 is barely enough for anything. Like, imagine I want to shoot stage, right? But if I had the 12 to 50, which gives an equivalent of 100, now we are talking. You see where I'm going with this, Wolfie? How the zoom sacrifice, if you want to go wider, but you have to sacrifice the longer end. Like, no, this is too much sacrifice already. And that 13 to 33 makes zero sense to me. I don't want that lens. Sunny says, I would prefer there is a roadmap or teaser because they can test water of the reaction and make changes accordingly. Remember Sonic the movie? Yeah. I don't know why they don't just tease, right? It's in a way, it's concerning because, like, there's nothing on the teaser. It's like nothing is coming. Kamuyat Mariam says, I hope this is not the end of the line for Micro Four Thirds. Come on, OM system, cook something, please. I'm sure they will cook something. I'm sure they will. Wolfie says, OM should see the customers and users like their investors. Prove that you want us to invest and trust you. Show us a camera and lens roadmap. Prove there is a reason to keep us. Yeah, I know, right? Like something to get us invested in them, right? To stay motivated and interested, right? Let me drink some coffee. Ooh. Time check. It's 4 minutes past 11 already. Let me see if there's any new members chat. No. I should put a pause in this chat. Drink some water to stay hydrated and share my photographs for this week. Oh, I need to cough. Sorry about that. Oh, you guys didn't hear it because I muted the microphone. This week, I wanted to do a video about, the topic is the 5 common mistakes that beginners do in macro photography, insect macro photography specifically. I actually went out and recorded the video, right? Halfway through the recording, a group of workers in the park where I normally do my video recording came with leaf blowers and they just started blowing the leaf, and oh my goodness, I waited for 45 minutes until I realized that they're not gonna stop. This way I decided to just pack the bag and went home without finishing the video. But in preparing to make that video, I've also compiled a series of macro images to be used as sample photographs to demonstrate what I wanted to share in that video. So instead of making that video, I won't complete that video maybe next week. I'll just start from beginning and everything because the photographs are already there. Then I thought I'll just share these photographs in advance. And they're not new photographs. These macro photographs, I've shared them before in my previous videos, in my previous live streams. I just thought it would be nice to compile them again and really look at these photographs one more time. Because I think this year, I've spent a bit more time. I wish I had more time. It seems like the year is ending already, right? It's fast. We are already in end of October already. November is coming in a few days. And I don't see myself doing more macro sessions this year. Maybe just one more session in November or December, and that's it. I look at my calendar. I'm quite busy. I don't think I have time to squeeze for macro photography. But having said that, for the past 1 year, this year specifically in 2025, I've done more macro than the previous years, and I'm very proud of it. Not to say that I have fantastic shots or award-winning shots. I think my macro shots are very ordinary, nothing shout-worthy, but I'm happy with them, and definitely I want to share them again with you guys. So yeah, let's look at some of these macro shots. All right, that's the red cotton bug, I think, red cotton stainer bug. Right. Cool thing is, typically this bug, the wing is not transparent. I have other shots of this bug as well, and the wings or the body is not transparent. So pretty cool. I haven't seen a transparent one before, so this is the only one that I caught that's transparent, which is pretty cool. Whenever I see something see-through or transparent in the bugs, I always get very, very, very excited. So yeah, red cotton stainer bug. This time I try to look out the names before I present the photographs. Lynx spider eating a bug, I think, a beetle, if I'm not wrong, a small beetle, lynx spider. This another lynx spider again, lynx striped spider eating a beetle. All right, very, very, very cool. Also, like, I'm not out enough to get this kind of shots, and ultimately these are the type of shots that you want to get when you're out there shooting macro, because you want some action, right? It's not just empty portraits or plain portraits of the bug without anything happening. You want something interesting, like the bugs having sex, or the bugs eating something, or the bugs doing something like changing skin, molting, or something, right? You want to capture all these activities, you want to capture all this drama, all these moments, all this very interesting something, rather than just a plain the bug just standing there doing nothing, right? So yeah, mantis eating another bug, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I've previously, not this year, because this was shot this year. So I've shots that were taken before I've taken mantis slicing off a butterfly's wing, which is brutal. I've also taken a mantis chopping off the head of a dragonfly. It was many, I think it was 5 years ago, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's always very nice looking at mantis and them with the praise, right? This is the cotton bug, the cotton stainer bug, red cotton stainer bug, the one without the transparent wing, which is pretty cool. The one I had before, the first photo, was transparent, which I don't understand why. And of course, you can see here they are having a fun time, having a party, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And also, I'm always very excited when I look at insects that are red in color, because a lot of them are brown, black, or, you know, like just very green. It just camouflage with the leaves and the grass and everything. So whenever there's like bright colors like orange, red, yellow, or something, or blue, something more, it pops from the leaf, right? It always attracts my attention, which is pretty cool. Leaf-footed bug. Yes, I looked this up. Of course, I don't know the scientific name. The scientific name is, I can't remember them, but this is pretty cool. This is leaf-footed bug, and pretty cool. I used the Nisi close-up lens on the 60 f2.8 macro to get this shot. So for Suntix, if you're here, if you have the 60 f2.8, yeah, you can try getting these shots. I think it'll be fantastic, right? I think you have an EM1 Mark II, if I'm not wrong. You have that. That will help you better in handling and steadying your shots rather than using the EPL or an Olympus pen. I think in this situation, this is where the OMD or the hand grip, the larger, beefier grip, will really help you in steadying your shots. All right. Harvestman or Daddy Long Legs, which is pretty cool. So I have one shot. Tips for people shooting macro, like this shot, you want to see the entirety of it because long legs, right? So this is like almost the entire coverage of the Harvestman, not too far away. You can still see the body, but you can see the long legs, right? But you can also go really close. This is the 60 f2.8 macro. Go really close to look at the eyes, the body, the details, and everything, which is pretty cool. Harvestman or long legs, daddy long legs, they are not exactly spiders, although they belong to the same family, if I'm not wrong. 8 legs, of course, but these are not spiders. So yeah, pretty cool. And parasitoid wasps. I've shot a few of this. So I've shot. The first time I shot this was in Fraser's Hill when I was reviewing the OM5. I think this was the OM5 shot, OM5 Mark II with the 60 f2.8. This was the first time I encountered this. And then recently, I was shooting at a park nearby my place. I saw it again. So yeah, I don't have to go all the way to Fraser's Hill, right? It's here nearby, just a few kilometers away from where I stay. So yeah, parasitoid wasps, which is pretty cool. This was my first and only time seeing a giant robofly. It was huge. I was like, wow, I've not seen a robofly this massive. It was nice. It was really nice. And I waited, because normally when you have a robofly, they will fly and catch something and come back to the spot and eat whatever they caught. But I waited and waited for like, I think 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes. I can't remember. This was with the OM5 Mark II. And the giant robofly just stood there and not do anything. I was like, come on, don't be so lazy. Please go and find something to eat. And like, nah, I'll just chill here. I don't care. I'm lazy. Like me most days, right? Click beetle. Also my first time seeing it, which is pretty cool. Click beetle, which is pretty cool. Such an insect. And the details on the abdomen is crazy. If I can zoom in for you guys to see, it's just crazy. And jumping spider eating a moth, I think. And I like that because it's eating the moth. The fur of the moth is all, you know, like the spider is covered with all the orange fur on the face and the abdomen and everything, the legs, everything is covered with the orange fur, which is really cool. It's like, I'll just go in there, just eat everything in there. It's just so nice. Yeah. This was shot with the 12 to 50 the 12 to 50 kit lens. What fringing? I don't see any fringing. Raw in capture, you said they were fringing, right? It was captured with the macro function of the 12 to 50, the wasps eating a spider. Funny story about this. So normally we will have to find insects, right? So I will look at the leaves, look around the branches, everything for things to shoot. This, however, just appeared in front of me. So I was looking this way, like there's nothing in front of me. It just appeared in front of me, landed right in front of me with the spider, and just started eating the spider in front of me. I was like, oh, okay. Instead of me, and that wasp was really strong. It was flying with that spider with it, carrying it, and just landed on that leaf. And I was like, okay. And it wasn't moving that much already, so I started getting my shots. I got about like 5 or 6 shots before it flew away again. It just appeared in front of me, and that time I was shooting with the 12 to 50 kit lens. So sometimes it's just luck, right? You just have to be out there enough, and things just happen in front of you. You don't even have to look for it. It just came to you and asked to be photographed, right? So there's another different angle of it. Yeah, sorry. I said wrongly, it moved a lot. It moved a lot. But when you have the flash, because I was using a flash, and the flash duration or the speed is good enough to freeze any motion. So yeah, there you go. What fringing? I don't see any fringing. I think sharpness is perfectly fine if I can blow it up to show you, right? So it's like taking the spider, picking it apart. My goodness, the wasps eating the spider. And there's a scorpion fly. My only time encountering this scorpion fly, which is pretty cool. Again, I think I talked about this before. I just want to share it again. I wish I caught this from the side. I can, but because I was very afraid that the scorpion fly would fly away, it would be sensitive. So I went in and grabbed like a head-on shot first before I went on the other side to capture from the side profile of the scorpion fly. Then you can see the curved back like a scorpion, like the tail, the curved tail of the insect, right? That's why it's called scorpion fly. But before I could do that, another insect, I can't remember what now, flew too close and spooked the scorpion fly, and scorpion fly flew off. So sometimes it's not you. You can be as careful as you can be, alright? So you can try to be as gentle and as nimble and try to like not cause any disturbance or sudden movement or anything, not scare it away, but something else can just come in and scare it away. So yeah, unfortunately that happens. So yeah, this is the midget fly, if I'm not wrong. Midget fly? Is that a midget? I could be wrong. Midget fly. Yes, midget fly. This is a midget fly. I'm not even sure if it bites humans though. It looks like a mosquito, but it is not a mosquito, so which is pretty good. It's really tiny. This is really tiny midget fly, and strangely, they are not very sensitive. You can go so close, and they are not afraid of you, which is really strange. Like if mosquitoes, they just fly away already. Yeah, just a beetle, red beetle, a random beetle bug around with some reflective wing, which I find it very nice. Jumping spider, which I love to shoot. I shot a lot. You'll see a lot more jumping spider shots here. Jumping spider, and they're always very curious. They don't run away from you, which is very nice. Sometimes they come too close, and they're always very curious. And sometimes they just jump onto your lens, right? And which is always very interesting. Yeah. Another jumping spider. I love this shot because I like the texture that the spider is on. Usually it's just on leaf, which is very boring. This is at least something different. I have a different background, different overall look, which makes it a lot more vibrant. It makes it a lot more interesting, right? Rather than this is like a typical shot of the same jumping spider. It just keeps moving around. Like I don't understand how people can stack. Like from here, 3 seconds later it's here. How the hell do you stack your shots? Like, and they don't stop moving, right? They just move and move, and even if it's just standing there, the legs will move, the head will go up and down, like whatever that's in front, the fangs will just move. Like, how do you stack them? It's just, how do you find something to just stay there for like a few seconds? It just doesn't make sense, right? It just doesn't work. Anyway, like everything moves, right? Everything just keeps moving, and this is obviously end mimic spider, which is really nice, and obviously it's not staying very still as well. All right, end mimic spider is always very fun to shoot. This is perhaps one of the more one of the spiders that you can stack if you want to, but I didn't. This nursery web spider, and this nursery web spider, it doesn't move a lot. This is perhaps the only thing I can stack if I want to, right? But I didn't do any focus stacking. I go really close. This F8, it's more than enough depth of field already, I think. If you want to stack, you can see all the way to the back, but I don't think that's necessary. I think the eye and the fangs and everything is already in focus. That's good enough for me. I don't need everything to be in focus. Right, this is as close as you can get already. I don't want to go any closer than this. Right, another striped lynx spider. This time it's eating another spider. I think it's a jumping spider. So the striped lynx spider eating a jumping spider. And if you look carefully at the bottom left corner, there's like a white bug. I don't know what that is. It's not even afraid of the spiders. Like, if I see a giant spider in front of me, I would have flown away. But this white bug just stayed there and not do anything. I don't know why, which is weird. And honestly, when I was shooting this, I did not see the white bug. It was so tiny. It was so tiny. Obviously, I was trying my best to focus on the two spiders, right? The lynx spider eating the jumping spider, right? So yeah, and a shield bug or stinky green bug. Right, don't know what it is, but it looks pretty cool, and I was very thankful that this particular background doesn't have any green. Right, typically it's like you're shooting leaves, bushes, grass, or all the greens, right? And then the green on the green is like, nah, it's not very interesting. So thankfully, this background doesn't have any green, and then it just the shield bug just immediately jumps out. Like immediately, you can see that the bug is there. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Grasshopper. Short horn grasshopper. See, I do my research this time. And I like that the grasshopper looks like a dried leaf. Honestly, from a distance, I thought it was a dried leaf. Until I looked carefully. Wait a minute. This is not a dried leaf. It's a grasshopper, which is pretty cool. Yeah. That's the, what you call that? The mimicry, right? The camouflage. They try to stay alive by blending into the surroundings, right? Which is pretty. It does look like a dried leaf. If I don't go this close, of course, if I'm this close, you can see the abdomen, the legs, the wing, the eye, the horn, the legs and everything, right? But I mean, from a distance, it just looks like a leaf to me, right? Yeah. And this is a caterpillar. I don't know what butterfly of the caterpillar this is. If you want to do research, you can, but it's just one of the caterpillars, right? Ants eating a beetle or trying to tear a beetle apart, like red ants. Oh, these red ants are nasty. We have a lot of them. Sometimes I step on them, step at the wrong place, it just crawled all over me and it started biting. My goodness, it's so painful. Dragonfly. I take a lot of dragonfly shots and they are just amazing. Dragonflies. And that's the trying to... This is, I think, without the close-up filter or extension tube. So this time it's close-up lens. And this is... this is with the close-up lens. Right, you can get a lot more magnification, almost twice or more magnification with the close-up lens. This is without the close-up lens. I think you can go a bit closer if you want, but yeah. And this is the orb weaver spider. Orb weaver spider. Yeah. And strange fact, like if you do the research, the scientists don't even know what the pattern on the web is for. What's the purpose? Like whether it's to confuse the prey or enemy or to attract, like does it have any scent or chemicals to attract the prey to come in, or is it just for decoration? Because it looks so cool, right? Yeah, this is orb weaver spider. Yeah, one of the orb weavers. And this is the last shot already, like going super close to a lynx striped spider. One of the spiders that I shoot a lot here in Malaysia. Jumping spiders, lynx, striped spider. Okay, that's it. These are the shots that I have. If you have any questions about these macro shots, how I got them, or if you have any anything you want to know about my technique, please ask in the chat instead of just talking about the fantasy or non-existent OM system lenses that they don't even care to tease on their roadmap. We can talk about something else, right? We can talk about macro photography. We can talk about how to get nice shots doing macro. If you know me, you know that I'm an open book. I'll share as much as I can. I don't hold back. I'll share anything you guys want to know. I'll just share as honestly as I can. All right, let's get back to the chat. And before that, let's drink more coffee. All right. I'll go to members chat first if there's any. We have a few. Okay, Ryan Capture says, I'm hoping I'll have the 12-40 by end of the year. I might sell more stuff. I don't used to afford it. Hopefully next year I might be able to afford a 40-150 f2.8. 12-40 is fantastic lens. But it doesn't have the macro capability of the 1250, and it doesn't have the internal zoom, unfortunately. You gain some, you lose some. But optically, it's excellent. It's definitely way sharper. In terms of flow control, it's way better than the 12-50. If you see any fringing on the 12-40, my goodness, your eyes are like Superman's eyes already. Okay, Ravi says, hi Robin, I would like a 300 f2.8 from Panasonic. Why Panasonic though? Har says, difficult to say, but I agree there are some concerns about the roadmap. My preference is knowing something is coming so I can plan my future purchases accordingly. Yeah, I know it's just normal for everyone to tease something, right? This is like nothing. They don't even care to tell us if there's anything coming, right? Camille says, Micro Four Thirds needs a new ultra-wide zoom lens. Canon's got a nice 10-20 f4. Panasonic 714 kind of sucks, and Olympus 714 is big and doesn't allow filters. We need something new and small. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I don't know why it's like, no, they just focus on bigger and longer lenses. They don't really care about the wider stuff anymore, which is very strange. Uvi says, yes, OM doesn't have any weather sealed telephoto lens under the 40-150 f4 Pro. Yep. Sixter says, Robin, there is still no macrophoto zoom with a range and speed of the extremely versatile and popular full-frame Tamron 35-150 f2.8 macrophoto lenses either don't cover the range or don't have the speed. I think in terms of bright aperture, they can definitely do a bit better. I don't know why they don't, because they were the first to come up with the f2 zoom lenses. We had, for the Zuko Digital, we're not talking about Micro Four Thirds, this was for the 4/3 DSLR time. We had 35-100 f2. We also had the 14 to 35 f2. So I don't think it's impossible for OM system to make 35-100 or 40-150 f2. I think it's definitely possible. The lens will be slightly bigger, definitely heavier, but I think it's not impossible, right? Because they already made it before. Movie says Panasonic has a more affordable 45-200, which is not a good optical lens, and 100-300. All right, but then 100-300, might as well just get the Olympus 100-400, right? Or the OM system 100-400 Mark II. Eric says, I love having the lens roadmap. I waited until after the OM 50-200 launch to buy a used 300f4. I think if it weren't for tariffs, the cost of the 50-200 US would have been more compelling. Yeah. Yeah, we don't know what's happening now, right? A lot of things are very uncertain with the current geopolitical, economical situation. Jay says, I've been waiting for the 50-200 for a long time. When I saw the price, I knew it was time to change my focus. I only kept my OM1 until the 40 f2.8. I invested in my Sony system instead. 3700, nope. But then again, like, I can see how the price is a little bit off-putting for some people. But then again, if you need it, you need it. It's just a fantastic lens, right? Movie says Tamron 150-500 f5-6.7. Ah, it's one of my favorite wildlife lenses. I did not give up. I crawled on my tummy in wet grass and mud for 25 meters to get closer. Ah, that must have been a very cooperative deer. It was worth it because the bug was playing with me, poking its head in and out, coming back and running away, making grunting noises. It was very funny and adorable. Yeah, animals, just love them, right? Just so nice. I feel old. Why old? On 22nd October, just 2 days before my birthday. Oh, you had a birthday recently, which is a few days ago. Oh, happy belated birthday to you, Wolfie. GTA 3 turned 21 years old. I was playing the hell out of the game and it was my childhood. Happy belated birthday to you. I hope you have a wonderful celebration, Wolfie. Thomas says, most Micro Four Thirds users seem to be old geezers. It's obvious when they've got their IV bags with them. But seriously, who does OM system to sell to the future with geriatrics are gone. Okay. But then again, like I understand what the strategy is. There's no point targeting the young users as well if they can't afford to buy a system. Like you get them excited, but you expect them to sell the kidney to buy your camera or lens? Doesn't make sense, right? The Great Vazini says, didn't they use the OM moniker way back when? Yeah, but then OM is just a label, not a brand, right? The brand started in 2020. Movie says, I prefer internal zoom and weather sealing variable aperture dual kit lens. Yeah, rather than collapsible design, right? Movie says, OM has the 14-42 EZ. Now they need to make a collapsible telephoto short kit lens companion for that. Yeah, but is that a priority though? Panasonic 35-100 doesn't have a competition alternative from OM system, but then again, that lens is not popular. Nobody buys that lens, right? Nobody cares about that lens because Panasonic themselves have the 45-200 and Olympus has the 40-150 lens, and it's like the 35-100 is like neither here nor there. It's like it's a pointless lens, right? Why does it need competition when nobody cares about that lens? Yeah. 50-200 would have been perfectly ideal for shooting dog shoe events, but I don't think the OM autofocus is dependable compared to the Nikon Z8. Yeah, hopefully in the future the newer cameras will have better autofocus. I don't know. Hopefully they'll fix it. Thomas says, I sold the 12-50, took it to the Adirondack. What the hell is that? I was kind of disappointed with the image quality on the long end, but then again, it's an old lens design. Just really shows how behind we are now. I think for a kit lens, 12-50 is amazing. I think at the long end, there is no issue, right? Do I have the samples here? Let me just quickly look through any samples that I have. If I still keep them on my computer before I put it up elsewhere. If I have, I'll show you. If I don't, I probably don't have it already. Olympus 12-50, I don't have it already. EM1 Pudu. No, I don't think I have it. This is not 12-50. Let me see if I can pull it off the web. Give me a moment, guys. Since we have time. Albums. 12-50. Where's my recent 12-50? 12-50, 12-50, 12-50, 12-50. Yes, found it. 50mm. Is this 50mm? This is 46. Okay, let me just download one. Do I have... This is 50. Okay, download. I'm trying to find the shots with 50mm because that's where you complain, right? That's soft. Alright, download. Is this 50? This is also 50. Okay. Okay, I have... Is this 50 as well? This is 40. Okay. Okay, I have a group of shots already. Let me find them. Cut. 12. 50mm. Alright, so 12-50 sample photographs. Let me switch over to this different view. Windows screen. Okay. File info. So this is 46 millimeters, not exactly 50. You can see from the EXIF, right? I think it's perfectly sharp. Of course, it's not going to be as sharp as 12-40 F2.8 PRO, right? But come on, like, are you going to say this is not sharp? Okay, let's go to the next shot. Okay. Like, seriously? I thought it's fine, right? Like, are you going to say that this shot is not sharp? Really? Okay, more examples. I don't see any problem with this is also 50mm, 50 millimeters at the longest. I don't see any issue with the sharpness of the lens. So just now it's closed up, right? So now it's a distance. Someone say, "Oh, Robin, but when I use the lens for shoot things from far away, it's blur." I'm like, If it's sharp when you shoot near, it's going to be sharp when you shoot it's far away. If it's when you're shooting things that's far away that's not clear, then maybe it's haze or some heat, distortion or something. I don't know, right? Right. Okay, this is 50mm as well. Like, really? And what fringing? I don't see any fringing at all, raw and capture. Like, are we using a different 2-50 lens? Like, what fringing? Like, you can see the as-if data, right? Let me show the as-if data here as well again. Where's the file info? Like, you can see this. I know it's tiny. It's 50mm f6.3 on EM1. It's not even EM1 Mark II, right? ISO 400. Okay. This is also 50mm f6.3 EM1 ISO 400, 1/200 per second. All right, let's go. All right, there you go. Like, I don't see any fringing. I don't see any problems. Like, sharpness is fine. This is like almost straight off a camera JPEG, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm very, very happy with my 12-50. I think the sharpness is excellent. Of course, it's not going to be as good as the 12-40 F2.8 PRO. That's definitely much better. The sharpness is on a different level altogether. But I wouldn't say that it's not sharp. Like, seriously, I don't know what you guys did. I don't know how you guys can get bad photographs 12-50. It is an old lens, but I mean, looking at the photographs, I'm perfectly happy with it. Right. Okay. Any chat from non-member or member? Let me go to the members first. We have one from Gregory. You guys tweet each other. No worries. Okay. Moving on. Har says, I agree with your argument about 50-200 versus 40-150, but not for that price. I guess that was my main point. 700 versus 3700 for an aperture photographer is huge. But then it's also not fair to compare a lens in a used market versus a lens that is just launched. Like, how is that a fair comparison, right? And 40-150 Pro is also an old lens. It's not a new lens. Whereas the 50-200 is a new lens. So if you're comparing prices, I guess it's only fair if you compare full retail price versus full retail price. And I mean, you can say that, yeah, you can get it for $700. But if you can't get the job done with $700, it is still $700 wasted. That $700 is not going to mean anything if that lens is not going to give you the shots that you need. My point is, if you need the lens, you have no choice, right? Like, yeah, I don't need the lens. Let me be clear. I don't need the lens. I don't shoot tennis. I don't earn money shooting tennis, right? I don't need 50-200. That's why for me, it will be expensive. I'm not going to buy it. But if, let's say one day, I'm being paid a good amount of money to shoot tennis, I will buy that lens. You get what I mean? Yeah. Nomadic says, have you heard of any lens manufacturers making 1.8 times squeeze factor lens? Besides, I have no idea what it is. And honestly, it doesn't really matter to me what squeeze lens. Wolfie says, the late and great David Thorpe proved over a decade ago that 40-150 f2.8 Pro and 1.4 times takeover is nowhere near as sharp as native Panasonic 50-200 f2.8 f4. Why would people even want to compare? It doesn't make sense. Whenever you apply a teleconverter, you will lose image quality. That is... How is this? Why would people even want to compare? Of course the Panasonic 50-200 f4 is going to be sharper. Of course that lens is going to win. You don't even need to compare to know this. When you attach something like a glass or anything, it will reduce the light that comes into the camera. In this case, one stop of light. And because of that, you have less data, and that translates to loss of image quality. It is just as simple as that, right? Yeah. Hey Jeff, how are you? Very nice to see you here. We say it's not surprising that Panasonic discontinued the lens, but 200 f2.8. Oh, but that's a nice lens, right? The Olympus 50-200 f2.8 makes more sense and competes with the Prime. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Eric says, I would love an updated 45 1.8 with faster autofocus. The current one can't keep up with my dog. Really? Okay. I have no issue using the 45 1.8 for very fast shoots though. I have no issue with that lens. Uvi says, Thomas, oh, you guys are talking to each other. No worries. Yanis says they will probably replace 12 f2 45 75 1.8 with weather sealing and will probably do it silently as they did with 17-25. 17-25 was not silent though. It was in the roadmap. Years before they came out, it was not silent. I miss 1 to 2 pancake lenses to make setup more compact for street and travel. Yeah. Pancake lenses would be awesome though. I hope they make more pancake lenses. Lucas says, I wish we had a wider f1.2. Oh, that lens is going to be massive. They'll be like twice as big as the 25 1.2, right? And a longer than 45, maybe 65 maybe? We have a 75, right? F1.8. I guess we want F1.2. Or just make F2 zooms. Yeah, the F2 zooms will make more sense. I don't know why they don't make it. I think the next step forward for them is to at least make like a 12 to 35 F2 or 40 to 150 F2. That would be a great, or at least maybe a 35 100 F2. That would be fantastic, right? Yeah, you don't have the reach, but you have the bright aperture. That would be amazing, yeah. The Great Vanzini says, I have to dig my 60 macro out. These are cool. Thank you so much, Great Vanzini. And yes, please make use of the lens. I think the macro lens deserves some love. Movie says, awesome images, Robin. Thank you so much. Your bugs are so intriguing and different when that we have here in UK. But I guess you guys have different kind of bugs as well, right? If I see your bugs, you'll be like, oh, I don't have this, right? I agree with interesting behavior of insects. Like wildlife, it is the frequency of outings that gets you interesting behavior and better images than a picture of something. That's why I did not give up on that deer, even though it was too dark for the lens. I would have given up. You are a lot more determined, and you are a lot more like you really want to get that shot, right? I would have given up like way sooner. Chuck says, I bought an FL600R for macro, but the video light pauses in RC mode and there's no way to turn it off. The video light, okay, no worries. I just opened it up and disconnected the video light, but man, that's poor design. Okay, I don't use the RC mode. I use the slave mode because I don't depend on the TTL. I just shoot everything in manual. And when you are in the slave mode, I don't think it pauses. But then again, I don't use the FL600R. I have the older FL50R, which is a lot more powerful. Yeah, way more powerful than the FL600R. Yeah. Dave says 12 to 200 for whale watching. Okay, that's awesome. Dave says 12 to 40 Pro is outstanding. No macro, but image quality is pretty outstanding. It is. It is a Pro lens. It was the first Pro lens from Olympus, and it has to be fantastic. And that lens outperformed, like out-delivered. It over-delivered. It was an amazing lens. Trev says, need budget fast autofocus 200. Get the Canon 200 f2.8. It's decent for micro four thirds. Okay, but very light primed. Can take 1.4 times teleconverter, but then again, you will lose autofocus capability, right? Or the autofocus will not be as awesome as the native Micro Four Thirds glass. Yeah, Trev says it does fringe a little, but it's still fixable in post. I mean, a little bit of fringing. Even the Olympus 45 1.8 has it, and even like if you really want to look, some of the Pro lenses will have fringing. Like, come on, like seriously. Movie says, understandable, Robin. Same with wildlife photography is unpredictable, and as much as you put the effort to get a shot, anything can happen to ruin it, so make the best out of it. That is true. Joe says, a 300 f2.8 would be cool. They used to have it for the Zuko DSLR time, right? The 300 f2.8. I don't know why they turn it into f4 for Micro Four Thirds. I thought they would have just made the 300 f2.8 for Micro Four Thirds, right? Just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Eric says, what are your thoughts on the Olympus 90 macro? I think it's too big, too expensive, and not necessary. I think the 60 f2.8 is more than good enough for what I need to do. Yes, you get more magnification, double than that, but then again, like if I look at my photographs earlier, like let me look at if I can bring it back. Do I really need more magnification? Like, do I really need more magnification? I don't know. Like, you tell me. I thought the magnification of 60 f2.8 macro is already good enough. Like, I don't know. I'm not the kind of person who just shoots the eye of the insect. Like, I want to shoot the body. I want to review the details. I want to see the legs and everything. Like, these are, to me, is more than good enough, right? And I can crop in further if I want to. So, no. And 90 is too big. Like, a lot of these shots, if you don't know, I actually hold the camera with one hand and the flash and diffuser with another hand. With the 90, I can't do that. It's just too big and heavy. 60 is piece of cake. That lens weighs nothing, right? It's so small and so light. But 90, no, that is there is a chunky lens and there is a heavy lens. I can't hold it with one hand. Like, I can't do what I do with that lens. It's just, it doesn't work for me, right? So sorry. Vabagambaga says, I like the green bug. Yeah, the what do you call that? The shoe bug, right? That was the shoe bug, this green stinky bug. I don't know if it stinks. I didn't go close enough to smell it. Okay, let's see if we have members chat. We have Gregory. I went with the OM1 in 1978 because its lenses were small. That is what drew me to Micro Four Thirds. GM5 and 12-32 is pocketable. We love a correspondingly tiny zoom for more reach. With the other pocket, yeah. I don't know, like they just give up on making small things, right? Everything is just getting bigger and bigger and heavier and bigger. Anya says, stunning photos as always. I still need to learn how to use my 60 f2.8. I have so many videos talking about this, like how to maximize, how to get macro shots or maximize your macro images or the lighting. I have so many, just look around my channel, search macro, everything is there, right? I don't hold back when I share. Nicholas says, is the 60 millimeters 60 all the way, never 90. I don't have a 90. Like I said, 90 is too expensive, too big, too heavy. Like I don't see the point of using that lens, like honestly. Like the people will say, yeah, the 90 is sharper. Like when you look at the image, like really, like how much sharper do I need it to be? Like really, how much more sharpness do I need? Like from the lens, it is really so sharp, right? Like yeah. Anyway. Luffy says, great images, Robin. Don't understand your macro skills and images. They are amazing. Thank you. Thanks for that. I just need to shoot more. And I want to, but I don't have time. I'm a working photographer. And to be fair, to be honest, the macro shots don't earn me money. Like, I don't get paid shooting inside macros. So my priorities have to be somewhere else, right? Like I shoot events, shoot weddings, shoot portraits, stage mini concerts. That's where my money come from. And I need to eat, right? I don't have a small body. I eat a lot. So I need to have enough food on the table. So I need to pay bills. So I got to shoot the kind of jobs that brings in the income. So macro, as much as I would love to do more, has to be sidelined because they just don't pay the bills. Unfortunately, that's the truth, right? Movie says, I'm considering the Tamron 35 150 f2 to f2.8 as my future and prime candidate for dog shoe events. For the Nikon Z8 Plus, a telephoto option if the show is too large. Ah, okay. Yeah, but you already have the Tamron, what, 150 to 500? The one that goes to f6.7? I guess that's your telephoto option, right? Wow, still very young. I am 4 years older than you, Wolfie. You're still young, man. Still young. Eric says, since you're an open book, could you please share how you set up your aero camera in your reviews, like the 50 to 200? Your videos consistently have the best natural outdoor lighting. EM1 Mark II, 45 1.8 on a tripod. I use the Slick Sprint Pro 3, if I remember that correctly, tripod. And it's always in the afternoon around 3 or 4 o'clock for the directional light. I try to avoid harsh afternoon light. Let's say, I'm in Malaysia, so the way that the light, the lighting happens outdoor might be different from where you are. But where I am, I try to get the afternoon 3 to 4 o'clock directional light, so I get a bit of the side light rather than the light coming from the top, right? And pretty much that's it. 1/50th of a second, ISO 200, f1.8. ND filter, variable ND filter, and flat profile. I think the rest I've shared in my recent video on the 45 1.8 video. Have you watched that video already? Let me just pull the video out for you, Eric. I think it's just one video before the 50 to 200 review, right? How I did my videos. Okay. If you haven't seen the video, let me just bring it here. Share the link. So I talk a lot about my video making process there. The Olympus 45mm 1.8 video. So please check this out, Eric, if you have not done so, right? This video. Talk about my color grading as well. Settings and everything. Yeah. Okay. Wolfie says, I have the 12 to 50 f3 3.5 to 6.3. It's my only other macro focus lens to my 30 f3.5 macro, and I love how compact it is and how good the macro mode is. 0.74 times magnification. It is sharp for me. It is sharp for me too, right? Yeah, Kamil says Laowa should make the ultra wide primes like 6 f2 with autofocus, but then again, like maybe they don't have the autofocus technology. That's another issue, because autofocus is not something that can be easily made or manufactured, if you get what I mean. And the frustrating thing is that autofocus for different camera brands, it works differently, right? So it's a challenge to make a lens that can work across different mounts. Yeah, Panasonic 9 f1.7 is amazing, but it's not drastic enough of a difference from 12. 6 makes some very dramatic photos with 12 that 12 can't. I agree and disagree at the same time. I think 9 is very different from 12. 12 millimeters is always not wide enough for me for my events, but 9 is definitely more than wide enough for me to shoot. In fact, I think I just need 10. 10 millimeters is good enough. But 9 is, of course, an extra, right? It's good. 6 will be great, but I wouldn't use 6 f2 Laowa for my events. It's just too wide. And when you use the lens that wide, it causes all kinds of other problems. I'm not saying that the lens is not necessary. I can see in a lot of situations where the Laowa 6 f2 can be really useful, especially if you're shooting architecture, or if you're shooting interior, if you're shooting in a space where you need to fit as much as possible within your frame. But it is also not a difficult lens to use because it's so wide. If you set it to f4, f5.6, use zone focusing, anything from half a meter away will be in focus. I also think it's not a difficult lens to use if you want to use manual focus. So that's why they do it in manual focus. They don't have autofocus. And I don't think if you have that lens, you're going to use that lens to shoot anything that's moving fast. Even so, like, you just use zone focus and you just don't have to worry about it anyway. So yeah. And if you use that lens for, let's say, Milky Way or night sky, I think you have time. The sky is not moving anywhere, right? You have time to slowly manual focus anyway. Baba Gamoga says, I still love my 12 to 50 even if I have the 12 to 40, but then my priority is more on composition than have everything ultra sharp. Don't have problems with the sharpness of 12 to 50. Yeah, it's definitely more than sharp enough. Like, I don't understand why people complain about that lens not being sharp enough. Yeah. Jir says, good morning, good afternoon. Hey Jir, how are you? Nice to see you here. Work from home says, have you tried DJI Leica clone F1.8? Are you talking about 15 F1.7? Like, can you be more specific? No, I have not, but I have the Panasonic 51.7, and I love the Panasonic 51.7. That's what you are seeing me through now. It's on the OM1 for this live stream setup. David says, unrelated question. Have you made a video or spoken about your storage habits recommendations? Do you keep a backup in the cloud or just physical copies of your pictures? Okay, when I come home from a job, right? So I approach things differently if it's a paid shoot versus if it's just for fun, for a hobby, right? Shutter therapy. So if it's a paid job, I'll take out the SD card from the camera. I'll transfer all the images to my computer. So that's the first layer of backup into the computer. And then I'll transfer the images out to an external hard drive, 2 layers. And if it's not critical, I will not delete images from that card so that I have 3 layers of backup. The card, the computer, and an external hard drive. And then I'll work on the images on the computer, right? Work on it because I shot mostly RAW, so the RAW files will always be there as a backup, so I can export the images in JPEG. And once the images come out in JPEG, I'll deliver it to my clients, and the images will be back up to Google Photos. So it'll be on Google Drive, Google Photos, so there's like 2 different layers of backup online. But once the clients have downloaded the photos on Google Drive, I delete the photographs from Google Drive. I keep the ones in Google Photos which are compressed. They are severely compressed, right? And they are downsized to 16 megapixels to save space. Basically, that's it. I will delete the photographs on my computer periodically, like after a few months, and I'll keep the ones in the external hard drive. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah. Movie says, I have tried the DJI 15 1.8, 1.7, and it's as good and stellar as the Panasonic version. Well worth the paying less if you can find one. I want to get one back one day. All right, that's good. Thanks for sharing it, Wolfie. I appreciate that. Thomas says the Tamron 35 150 f2 to 2.8 is basically as good as it gets for a single lens set up for event photography. You could shoot a wedding with just that one lens. No, I need, like, there are many situations in the wedding where, let's say I'm taking a group photograph, I need 24. Hello? Are you gonna say no? I'm not gonna take a group photograph. Like, just maybe 5% in a group. I'm not gonna fit 20 of you in a group. No. Wide angle, right? So when I shoot for a wedding, I need a 24, a 50, and an 85. Just 3 lenses, I can do everything, right? I don't even need 150. Why would I need 150? It doesn't even make sense. 85 is more than good enough. 50 is a primary lens I shoot with. In a lot of shots, the established shots, let's say you're shooting a church. You want the interior of the church. Is 3500 enough for that? No, 35 is still not enough. You need a 24. If you have 20, that'll be fantastic, right? So I always carry something wider as well. So in terms of micro four thirds, these are the lenses that I carry for a wedding shoot. 9 f1.7, all right. 12 f2, 25 1.8, 45 1.8. Done. Work from home says, how is the autofocus with on system cameras? How is the autofocus with on system cameras? I shoot primarily with Olympus cameras. My main camera is Olympus EM1 Mark II. I love the autofocus, no issue. But I have issues with the OM system OM1. And I'm not happy with it. If you are interested to find out, then go to my channel, search OM1. You can find everything that I've talked about before. I'm not going to repeat it here. Movie says, Robin, should I consider the Yongnuo Trio Primes for Micro Four Thirds as an affordable option, mainly as backup with EM1 Mark II to my Nikon setup? The Trio, meaning that 17, 25, 45, right? I would say for 45, get the Olympus. Come on. The Olympus 45 1.8 is just so awesome. The 25, if you can't find a used one from Olympus at a good price, then go for the Yongnuo. 17, yes, the Yongnuo 17 is way better than the Olympus. That's the one that I will definitely push you to get the Yongnuo, right? If you compare the Yongnuo 17 and the Olympus 17, the Yongnuo one wins. But for 25 and 45, I would still lean over to Olympus. Yeah. Wolfie says, I have a Sigma 12 to 24 f4.5 to 5.6 from the DSLR lens, Nikon F, adapted to the Nikon Z6. The 12 angle of view is so fun, insane, and different that I always have fun using it. I love it to bits. Yeah, definitely. Work from home says, sorry, the question was supposed for Wolf regarding the DJI f1.7. Okay, no worries. We have caught up with the chat, and it's almost midnight. Let me drink some water, and I'll wait for a few more chat if there is. If not, then we will close up the session already. Right. And for members, don't forget, tomorrow is our members only live stream. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock Malaysian time. If you're not a member, why don't you join as a member? You get some cool perks, you get to support me. How cool is that? All right. Finally, we have a session that we actually call out with the chat. I'm not that far behind. Let me see if I missed anything from before. I don't think I have. Xmida has arrived, and we are about to end already, Xmida. Wolfie says, what's the coffee of choice? I drink instant coffee, actually, at home. It's just for convenience. I don't have a coffee machine. But when I go outside, the espresso-based drinks, usually I just order flat white. If I'm chilling and hanging out with friends, just flat whites because I want the flavor. Hot flat white. If I'm working, let's say if I'm going to a cafe with my laptop to reply to some really horrible YouTube comments, then it'll be black coffee, just black coffee, right? Just give me the bitterness. I need to wake up to really go through all these horrible comments. Trev says, speaking of 17 lens from Olympus, would anyone actually keep the f2.8 pancake? If you want as small as possible, if you treasure the compactness of the lens, if pancake lens is something that makes you happy, then the f2.8 lens makes sense. But the it's not a fantastic lens. That's the first lens that came out for micro four thirds system, one of the first few lenses, and image quality isn't great, and autofocus is also one of the slowest for all the micro four thirds lenses. Jared says, do you think going from EM5 Mark II to OM5 Mark II would be a big improvement? Yes! It'll be massive. You have a new image sensor with better resolution, dynamic range, and high ISO. You have phase detection autofocus, which means your continuous focusing will be better. You have 4K video, whereas the EM5 Mark II is only stuck at a full HD. Right? You have way better electronic viewfinder. Wait, I could be wrong with the electronic viewfinder. Could be the same. Could be the same electronic viewfinder. You have better image stabilization, no doubt. The 5-axis image stabilization. You have a ton of new features that you don't have in the EM5 Mark II, like handheld, higher shot, pro capture mode, starry sky autofocus, focus. What you call that? What are the new features? Live ND. You don't have that in EM5 Mark II, right? And yeah, generally it's faster camera, better image quality, better autofocus. Yeah, everything is improved. Like every single thing in the camera is improved. Yeah. Work from home says, appreciate this live, Robin. I actually watched almost all your videos before commenting with the EM5. Awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Do you like hot chocolate too? No, I suddenly drink hot chocolate. Like trying to cut sugar. I'm not young anymore. I'm approaching the age where I really need to care and be very careful about what I do. I don't want my later lives to suffer. I want to be able to go out to do shuttle therapy as long as I can. So I got to stay healthy. So less sugary stuff. Hot chocolate is definitely on the sweeter side of things. Yep. Get a mocha pot. What the hell is that? Better than French press. Not drastically different from espresso. Cheap and easy to maintain. And just need the stovetop. It's perfect. Nah, instant coffee works for me. I'm just too lazy. Movie says, a bit of personal question. Do you dislike dogs? Not really. I understand if yes or don't. I want to answer, but Southeast Asian culture has a negative opinion. It's not true. We love dogs here. But I am a cat person. I'm not a dog person. Like if I were to choose between dogs and cats, as a pet, definitely a cat, because I don't have time to entertain the dogs all day long. For cats, you just leave the cat and come to the cat whenever you want, right? But dogs, no, they require a lot of attention. So you have to walk the dog. You need to like really play with the dog every day. And for cats, you just can just leave the cat and I'm fine with it. I am not the kind of person that can spend so much time with a pet, right? So yeah. David says, from 1 to 10, how happy are you with the 9 F1.7? I'm ready to buy it for myself. I would say very high. 9 out of 10? I'm trying to think of a reason why I'm not giving it a 10. I have no reason not to like it. I think it's fantastic. It's weather sealed. It's sharp. It's bright F1.7. It's so small. Like, why is there not to like? I think it's a fantastic lens. Yep. Love dog, but they are definitely higher maintenance. Yes, Gregory, that's the reason. It has the same EVF as OM3, which is probably the same EVF as the EM5 original. No, not original, sorry, EM5 Mark II. EM5 Mark II, not original. Original is even lower resolution. Jira says, okay, thanks for answering. I'm sticking with the Canon for wildlife, but love micro four thirds for nature and street photography. No worries, no worries. See, guys, someone choosing Canon over micro four thirds for wildlife. It's not surprising, right? I don't know why OM system wants to go wildlife. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, we says, I'm getting a puppy for my birthday next month. Aww, that's nice. I think puppy will be fantastic. If you love dogs, why not, right? If you love it. Yeah, she's a mix of Shih Tzu and Toy Poodle. That's amazing. I named her Hoshiko. Sounds like... I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say this out loud. Woofy, I hope you don't mind. Sounds like a name of a ghost in a horror story. Like a horror movie, right? Hoshiko, like the haunting of a Hoshiko. I'm waiting for her to be able to eat solid food and be separated from her mom. Sorry, Woofy, so sorry. I've been watching a lot of horror stuff lately. I'm watching Welcome to Derry, the It TV series. I'm starting to watch Channel Zero. I'm on season 2 now, so a lot of horror things happening in my head recently. So anyways, as Mina says, I like 9 f1.7, just have strange flare. Yes, flare is a problem. 918 is less prone to such effect. But then again, I don't mind the flare because I don't shoot against strong sources of light. And I'm using the lens mostly indoor for events anyway, so that's fine. It means star child. Yeah, like it does seem like it's from one of those Japanese horror movies. All these ghosts have very nice names, right? But then again, they are ghosts and demons and like really evil entities. Anyway, Eric says, Robin, have you ever tried Olympus EP7? No, we don't have EP7. They don't sell it in Malaysia, unfortunately. And they don't sell it in most parts of the world. I can't have one even if I want one, unless I import it, which will come with a host of other problems. So no. Tomena says, I remember in Penang there was a lot of stray dogs. The locals don't treat them well, but they were nice. My concern with strays is that they can have rabies, which is that, yes, we do have rabies in Malaysia. So if you're in Malaysia, please don't touch strays. I mean, just be extra careful. And yes, they are deadly. Work from home says, cats are low maintenance. I got an automatic feeder and litter box. Whenever I'm out of town, it really helps. Back when I have a dog, I have to talk to my aunt to babysit. Yeah, I know, right? Ufi says, yeah, Japanese ghosts are scary. Sorry, I'm on my horror phase now. I'm watching too many horror stuff. Serafin says, my wife is from Ecuador and that entire country loves instant coffee. This American can't stand it. But I love that family and just pretend it's wonderful when we visit. I drink like espresso bases, so I just don't make them at home. And I don't want to spend money on unnecessary stuff. Like I'm not rich, you know. Like yeah, I don't even go on holidays and stuff. Like and recently I've just spent a big chunk of money with my mom's funeral and stuff, the memorial. That has costed me a lot of money and. The insurance doesn't. My mom didn't. She didn't have any insurance, and the travel insurance. Well. They came back and said, oh, we can't cover any of these things because my mom didn't die of accident. It's not an accidental death. If my mom died of accidental causes, then I would have been very well compensated. But my mom died of natural causes, right? It was technically heart attack, cardiac arrest. So I said, no, we're not going to give you any shit. So yeah, I have to spend a huge chunk of my money on that. So luxuries like coffee machine, that has to wait or maybe not happen. So there are more important things in life that I have to channel my funds to, unfortunately. Things that drain my savings, yeah. Tomato says, my internet cut out earlier, but the photos are amazing. I have to watch back because I missed some. No worries. Thanks for the support, Tomato. Movie says, The Garage is still the scariest movie. Ju-on, right? Ju-on. I'm still getting cold sensations just thinking of that sound, the clicking sound. Jir says, for context, my choice to stick with Canon is partially driven. I'm not questioning your choice, Jir. You don't have to justify yourself. And I'm just saying that it makes zero sense for OM system to go into wildlife. That's it. And it doesn't work for them. I think it has cost them dearly. And I wish they realized that before it's too late. And I don't think they're going to change. Yeah. Wolfie says, Hoshi is also a favorite character in Star Trek Enterprise. She's the member of the Enterprise and is a translator for alien languages. She knows over a dozen languages. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Aeropress fan. Okay. Asmina says, 51.7... I don't remember it being flaring, but then again, Panasonic lenses are very prone to flare. I've tested 12 f1.4, horrible flare, 818, horrible flare. Man, like Panasonic lenses are generally very flare prone. Yeah, so Thomas says, mocha pot, damn it, it's so fast to make coffee with it. You guys don't know what you're missing out. Like again, I can't be, I mean, instant coffee is cheap, right? So yeah, it's something that I don't mind spending money on. But then again, anything else is just too expensive, right? I gotta be careful of how I spend my money. Looking at my bank account, things just keep going out. Like it just drains like crazy. Like no, this year I've been spending too much money already. Work from home says Asian horror is more than American horror. On the Garage, yeah, it's scary, right? Yeah. Thanks so much, Serafin, for the support. Appreciate that. Eric says, I know what you mean. I ordered my EP7 from Japan to the US pre-tires. This says it wouldn't even make financial sense to buy one. Yeah, I know, right? Like, they don't sell it in US as well, right? It's not available in US EP7. Like, what's with that? Like, why? It doesn't make sense. Wolfie says, DJI has a bit better flare resistance, but still not great. Still can get purple blobs on the Olympus and OM cameras in very small angles. Yeah. That's where I remember Hoshiko from. All right, I'm gonna stop here because it's already 8 minutes past midnight and I'm really, really tired. I think if I continue on, I'll just start talking nonsense. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. Thanks for being here. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's discussion. I've definitely enjoyed myself having a conversation with you guys. Thanks for the chat, and I hope you have enjoyed looking at the photographs that I've shared. And there'll be more next week, so yeah, stay tuned. Until then, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.